Hi, Latchi. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Latchi is the strategic director of Mitratech's Ina Zoom, or Mitratech in general, but especially on the Ina Zoom part, which a lot of listeners are using, have heard about. It's one of the leading and longest running softwares in the game. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, John. It's a pleasure.
So, thank you for people that may not be familiar. Could you talk about the background of the company and where you guys are at right now?
Yes, Mitratech is a software company based in Austin, Texas. We have more than 40 platforms across our broader portfolio. The immigration case management platforms sit within our HRC compliance business unit. And then we also have a newly acquired product called Case Cloud, which sits in our broader portfolio. However, INS Zoom is part of our um, HR compliance BU.
Okay, that's what HRC means, HR compliance.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of stuff came out. I'm trying to understand it. So when you say 40 platforms, so it's like 40 different business types or law for is it like trademark law and all this kind of stuff? What kind of platforms do you have?
Yes, there's software platforms to fulfill various kind of business needs. So from contract management to hire to platforms for hiring, for background screening, for automation of processes, just all kinds of solutions across the portfolio. But
Wow.
where I focus is on the immigration space because, of course, when Mitratech acquired both INS Zoom and Tracker IMS a few years ago, they realized that this is a very unique space and it needs special attention. And so here I am.
Oh, very cool. So I mean, that's intense. You guys have like a ton of engineers and people that are putting all this together. So that's a lot of experience and this knowledge on the back end. It kind of cut out.
Yeah.
So which companies they bought up INS Zoom and it was Tracker?
Yes, Tracker IMS and Tracker I-9. So Tracker IMS, Immigration Management System, is built for specifically for immigration, the same way that INSZoom is. On the other hand, Tracker I-9 is for I-9 compliance in particular. So yes, those three sort of platforms were acquired all at the same time
Now, I
within a few
assume
months.
it's big on the forms. That's like the bread and butter, I'm guessing. The tracker stuff, is that a case management kind of thing, or is that to do with forms as well?
So they're both end-to-end immigration case management platforms.
Hmm.
And one of the things that's really interesting about what I do is that I get to understand all kinds of different use cases for these platforms. So we have a very varied client base actually in
Yeah.
both of these immigration case management platforms, from small to mid-sized to large law firms to nonprofits to corporates who primarily need the platform to track document expirations and things like that. But yes, these are two end-to-end immigration case management platforms.
So you have like large private corporations, not necessarily law firms, or maybe it's in-house counsel kind of people, maybe in the HR that also use the software.
Yes, that's right. And we've seen this has been, I would say, a little bit of a trend over the past few years. Some corporate clients are choosing to insource some of their immigration services, and the reason for that varies across the portfolio. However, yes, corporates are definitely important to our immigration client base.
Yeah, I heard a colleague of mine once. He was bidding on a large corporation stuff, and one of the requirements was that they'll use your software as a standard. I was like, oh wow, that was surprising. The corporation knew what's going on in the immigration space because it's so
Mhm.
unique. So
Yeah.
the platform's compliance. You talked about Case Cloud. What is that about?
Yes, so Case Cloud is our newest acquisition, and Mitratech loves to acquire companies. We're growing by acquisitions. So Case Cloud in particular is a Salesforce-based platform, which the way that it's relevant to the immigration space is that it allows typically larger law firms to essentially build a custom case management platform. And this is relevant in the cases where they really have unique needs when it comes to white labeling the product,
Mhm.
or when they have specific portal requirements. Just they need more than what an out of the box immigration
Yeah.
case management platform can offer. And yes, it's exciting to see how this will play a role, for our current clients and as well as net new.
I mean, a lot of us use the out of the box software, especially for small firms that we can't, or unless we
Mhm.
know technology to get a Salesforce system or make our own. Some
Yeah.
employers are using existing systems and tweaking on their own. But when larger firms
Mhm.
come, even small ones for Case Cloud, is there like
Mhm.
a project manager that works with them directly to keep adjusting it, or how does like the client relationship work to adjust it?
Yes, absolutely. I think the beginning stages of that process are really critical. One of our case cloud experts will typically sit down with that client and understand the business need and first confirm that this is the right path forward for them,
Hmm.
because it is quite a big lift to
Yeah.
build out a custom solution, and not just build it, but then maintain it, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's not something that should be sort of taken forward lightly without really confirming that it is worth the effort and the time.
Hmm.
But in certain cases, it is the right approach.
Very
But
cool.
yes,
Yeah.
there is hand holding throughout in the beginning, middle, and of course during the implementation.
Wow, yeah, that's it. Just going changing softwares or learn new softwares, even if it's the easy one, it's like your whole
Yeah.
brain has to sit and think about it. It's like a whole thing, and larger firms probably have like a special person in the team that's like
Mhm.
just his job does that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it really does take someone highly qualified and experienced to do this well. And so, yes, I think our team does a great job with that. I think that also the interesting thing about Case Cloud is that it covers beyond the immigration case management, right? So if you have a law firm that where this is not their bread and butter, they have all kinds of different legal cases. It's
Oh, I see.
possible that Case Cloud could fulfill a better need in that scenario, because they're, maybe immigration is 10 or 20 or 30% of their practice, but not the whole thing. And so you need more options and more integrations and
Yeah,
more,
yeah, I
when
hear
you're
you.
talking about a law firm like that.
Well, speaking of more capabilities, you've launched GovNotice IDP. The show listeners have been hearing me talk about it a lot. Can you talk about what that software does and how it can help law firms?
Yes, would love to. So, GovNotice IDP is an AI powered tool which is embedded within INS Zoom. So, it sits within the product, and it's available both for our professional version of INS Zoom as well as enterprise, which is a version that has an enhanced level of capabilities. But the value that it adds, and I absolutely love this for paralegals in particular, because they're the ones typically doing this work, is automating the time consuming process of data entry from USCIS receipts into the case management platform for reporting and tracking purposes. Typically
Yeah,
right now, a law firm would have someone receiving the mail, looking at the notice, assessing it, usually scanning it, and then manually typing the data. This is hugely inefficient. No one likes to do it, to be honest. But it's important. It has to be done.
yeah.
And so the tool automates that end to end.
I have a small law firm, so we don't get that much mail from receipts because we just only a few clients a month. We got double the
Yeah.
size amount of business, and I see the receipts coming in. And on Instagram, I see some law firms who have more volume. They'll have days where they have like 100 receipts come in multiple days. It's like 500 receipts in a week. And that's when I start hearing like, oh yeah, this is a game changer when you're getting that level of volume, even if it's a little, just a part of like scan, like just putting it in even 2 times. It takes time. Let alone if you
Yeah.
get like 500 envelopes in the mail, and you got to get input each of them. That's like it's essentially you have a full time employee just doing that, but this solves a
Yeah.
problem. They can do more useful kind of things.
Yes, exactly. And currently, the tool, sort of the MVP version of it, because we foresee that we will be adding capabilities to it in the future, it's built with that intent. Right now, it covers notice receipts, premium processing receipts, and approval notices.
Hmm.
And we foresee that in the future, we'll be adding more, perhaps more document types, perhaps more receipt types. We'll see how the tool is perceived by the clients, and
Yeah.
where it goes going forward.
Yeah, these are big. Even with AI, there's still a lot of engineering and just management of these software systems has to happen. It's not a like a turn switch. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. These are really complicated things to develop. So I'm glad you're showing the initiative and doing this kind of stuff. I appreciate it. Now, could you
Yeah,
share
no.
some recent success stories of Zoom users especially with regard to automating the process?
hmm Yes. So this has probably been one of the most rewarding things for me personally, to have a conversation with a client, maybe 2 years back, and for them to use Zoom at a relatively high level. Maybe they're using it to complete the forms, which Zoom is so famous for, but it's so much more than that, right? There's so much power in the tool. It's a matter of actually really embracing the technology and putting it to work.
Yeah.
So one recent example we have is a law firm 2 years ago, like I said, was really using it just for form completion. Now they have implemented things such as automated emails popping up as soon as the case is opened. They're being more consistent when it comes to their messaging. They're setting up automated reminders um, when it comes to gathering of information and documents. They're utilizing the portals. And that's been a big trend, by the
Hmm.
way, that we have seen over the past 24 to 36 months is people, clients, are really pushing the law firms to give them that kind of portal
Yeah.
access transparency, so they don't always have to wait for them to reply
Yeah.
on where is my case, right? That is such a standard question. And for them to have that level of visibility, it reduces their anxiety, gives them more transparency, and ultimately yields better survey scores.
Yeah, it's just more professional. Yeah, we're in the process of trying to professionalize too and have like okay, have responses and all this stuff. But it takes time. But if you have a good automation for it, it's just the one and you do it once and done kind of thing. You just set it up and then it works on its own.
Yeah.
Well, real
hmm
neat. So, how are the plans looking up? I know you guys got a big booth at the AILA conference in Colorado in was it a month and a half from now from recording this. What kind of special things you got going on there?
Yes, we're super excited. We always get such positive energy from Ayla, just seeing our clients in person and learning as well from all of our industry colleagues and seeing what cool AI tools everyone is coming up with, considering potential partnership opportunities. But yes, we'll be talking about GovNotice IDP, because this is our newest release. And then also highlighting a few of our recent enhancements related to e-filing, because
Hmm.
this is another area where you can gain a lot of efficiency. We have, I believe, over 17 e-fileable forms in INS Zoom that definitely help when it comes to just getting case managers some time back instead of copy pasting, into those online portals.
Hmm.
And then, of course, we'll be focusing on reporting, which has been another major trend in the industry. Corporate clients are looking for more and more enhanced reporting so they can make data driven decisions. And so we have a number of very important enhancements in that area.
Very cool. Now I have a final selfish question. I'm having a booth for the first time at the conference. I'll be seeing you in the vendor space. Any recommendations for me? This first time I'm having a booth at a conference like that. Anything that you recommend I do or say, or how does it what I need to do? Because you've been doing a lot more than I have.
I would say just mingle as much as possible. What I've noticed is that sometimes I have the most meaningful conversations outside of the booth, actually,
Yeah.
just roaming the halls and randomly seeing someone. I think that's been sort of something that we've done differently in the last couple of years, is that we get out of the booth
Yeah.
and we just go and talk to everyone that we can, and we do have a large team coming by design.
Hmm.
We have 8 people on
Wow.
our team joining, and to be completely honest, none of them are from the sales side. We have SMEs coming. We have our architect, our development managers, our product managers, our professional services manager. So these are the people who work with our clients day in and day out, most of them, but some of them don't get to do that, right? The
Yeah.
development managers don't get to interact with clients a lot. So here we're bringing an opportunity for them to do that, to understand from the people, to understand the perspective as well from the people that are actually doing the software development themselves with their teams. So it's exciting.
Yeah, so neat. Well, I look forward to seeing you in person. Thanks again for coming. If people want to
Yeah.
learn more about GovNotice IDP or just INAZoom in general, what's the best place to go?
You can always contact me directly on LinkedIn. I try to be very active there and share helpful information. You can also, of course, reach out to us via our website, mitratech.com. I'm happy to share any information, at a high level, or if we have any helpful materials for your particular use case. Yeah, there's always an open invitation.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Stick around for a bit once I turn it off. But again, thanks so much for coming on, Lachi.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate it.